Now, let's look at the World Cup once more. That's the last question on the World Cup.
Sure.
Yeah. What improvements do you think can be done? Yeah. Let's say I gave you the position for the day as ARB. What one or two things would you do to change the format and change the makeup of the World Cup to make it more interesting?
Well, I think have a two-tier competition. For the next World Cup, what you have A, B, C, D. A and B are the top 10 teams in the world. So, okay, so New Zealand are rated 1, France are 2.
Yep.
So it goes A, B. Then you go from Wales is in A,
Yep.
Australia's in B. So the top 10 teams play against each other. C and D are the rest. So you might have the Italians, the Romanians, the Georgians, USA, and they play off. So what happens if the game is New Zealand versus Australia in the pools, the game before that could be Romania versus USA.
Right.
So what happens is you got two games on,
Yeah.
so that people do see the second tier teams play. And then when it gets to the semis and that, during that week, like if the quarterfinals on the Saturday, on the Wednesday they might have plate competition for the other team, so there's more rugby.
Yes.
Because you have rugby leading up to every game, every day, second day, up until the quarters, and then there's nothing.
Yeah,
the semis, and there's nothing. So
Exactly.
it actually loses all the impacts. You're sitting around going, well, what are we going to do for next week? There's no rugby. So if they have those tournaments, then what happens? It's rugby still going along. You know, people still are getting seen. Referee rise, I think the laws at the breakdown have got to be changed. I think that's absolute debacle. Bring back rucking, I think, because it makes it a lot easier for the ball. No one's going to put their hands, no one's going to complain about slowing the ball down. And I think what should happen with the referees, the third referee, because the referee standard wasn't great, a lot of things they missed, a lot of bad decisions, and one of the worst referees I find is Barnes. I mean, some of the decisions against the Welsh versus South African game, that last penalty, the penalty should have gone to South Africa instead of Wales. So, and it was wrong. Then he admitted he made a mistake. Well, if they kick the goal,
That's it.
bad luck. You made a mistake and South Africa lost. So, so what happens is, I think the third referee up there, if he sees something, if he sees a forward pass, he can tell a referee it was a forward pass.
Done.
On his ear, and they go forward pass.
Right. Okay.
Because if you watch the games, there's so many forward passes leading up to the semis, quarters, then all of a sudden there's 2 forward passes and they pick them up. But for the whole World Cup, they missed them all.
Right.
So it was just not consistent. And referees can lose a game for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know, so I think that was one of the problems, and I just think that you know, besides that, you know, goal kicking's just let it go. The scrums, you can't kick for goal from a scrum.
Right. Okay.
You've got a short arm, you either play the ball. And the other thing I think we should look at is when you get advantage in the 22, I think it should be a bit like basketball, where once you get in the circle, you've got 3 seconds.
Right. Okay.
But in rugby, you might have you've got 4 phases or something.
Right.
You can't drop the ball on and get the penalty.
Right.
If you do that,
Yes.
you get a penalty against you,
Right, okay.
because that's not in the spirit of the game of rugby.
Yeah, sure.
And just all those sort of little things to make it a game of rugby.
So basically, you want a bit more open, a bit more flowing game as opposed to.
Well, it's a great sport. If it's played correctly, it's a great sport. If it's not, and the other thing is, look at sevens. Sevens is the same. We've got 15-man rules for sevens, which with 7 men on the side, it's a faster game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like in the line-outs in sevens, no lifting, bad luck. If you get a penalty, you can't kick for touch. You know, and the scrums, the ball goes in, it gets out.
Goes out straight. Okay.
Just play the game. People want to watch action. They don't want to watch a referee pull a yellow card out and sin bin someone in a sevens final when you say, well, that's the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just tell me a little bit about what you're doing at present.
Well, I think that's it's typical Australian that once you retire and you've been successful on the field, it's very hard to get involved off the field. So I've got an academy in Hong Kong, which I do 4 times a year, and coach from under 7 to 16-year-olds. And all I teach them is the basic skills of rugby: catch, pass, run straight, and communicate.
Beautiful. Now, you say you do that 4 times a year. Is that only for the Hong Kong residents, or is it?
No, it's really for the Hong Kong the young kids, which are local and Chinese.
Okay.
We do go to Macau. We are trying to go to China, Sri Lanka, Singapore, in the Asian area, because there's great talent there.
Right. Okay.
And then obviously I'm going back to South Africa to live.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a lot easier to get to England and
Right,
opportunity-wise. So, yeah, I love just being involved, coaching what I've learned.
I met you in London for a World 15 game because I came with James Dalton
Okay.
and Francois Pinault.
Pinner. That was about 95, wasn't it?
Something like that.
96.
97. Yeah, that's right. I think either Barbarians or World 15.
Yeah, it was the
World-
Barbarians.
Was it Barbarians? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What were you playing with?
I don't know what to say. Is
Ah,
that a compliment?
I don't know.
no, I wasn't playing. Now, while we're on that subject of
Yeah.
playing, what position do you think I play?
I reckon you were a fullback.
I like it.
How's that?
I played number
What a great
12.
guess. 12.
No, I played 12.
Because I know that all the backs get bigger when we get older.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, David Ian Campese,
Yep.
you are best remembered for being part of an era when it was acceptable to try things and take risks. Now, with the highly structured game of today, this is almost non-existent.
Yeah.
But we would like to thank you on behalf of all the people watching in the whole Pacific region for bringing us such great joy during your highly entertaining years in our beloved sport of rugby.
Thank you very much,
sir.
AJ.
Take care.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Viewers, I beg you, do not miss next week's show. Next week's show, we see the toughest man in history. This man fought Muhammad Ali for 15 rounds. Muhammad Ali went to hospital. George Chuvalo went dancing with his wife.